Bath, talking about eco-anxiety. Also, here is Rachel Atkins, a geography teacher at Bristol Grammar School. Rachel was the city's first UN-accredited climate change teacher. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what does that accreditation mean? What's it for?
And so what it is it's available to all teachers for free, and it's run by Educate Global, and it's giving teachers access to a whole wealth of UN material that you go through. Units such as on children and climate change, gender and climate change, human health and climate change, and you go through all of those modules, and then you have to pass a test on each of them, and then you get the accreditation.
And was climate change an area you were particularly interested in before, or was it because of your pupils you knew you had to be more genned up on it?
Yes, so it's always been an area that we've been interested in, and then particularly, we're teaching it more and more, and there's more and more interest from the pupils as well. So teaching things like the IB and A levels and GCSE, you've got climate change within that, but it's actually being climate literate and having the confidence to be able to talk about climate change to pupils.
How do you cope with? Because one of the things I struggle with is information and knowing who to trust and which, what to believe. How do you educate your pupils about, making sure that the information they're reading and taking on board and acting on is credible and rather than sort of scaremongering?
Well, that's a really good point, and actually that's why I chose the UN climate change material, because that is, a very good source of credible material, and the resources there are absolutely fantastic to go through. So yes.
And what do your pupils say to you about climate change? I mean, we heard from some young people a few minutes ago. How much does it mean to them? How involved are they?
So there's real different levels of involvement, from, having a kind of how does that really relate to us, to being really wanting to be involved and really participating. So for instance, today we've got our senior school going into the infant school, and they're going to read a book. Here we are, the notes on living on planet Earth, to
that's
our
interesting.
infant school, and then, running a session, which is fantastic. So there's action that's happening. There's Eco Society that we run, that's run by several different departments, which is one of the aims, to have a look at cross-curricular. And even in lessons, so just talking about deforestation with year 11s. And then as a result, they were talking about big companies and their environmental awareness, and then choosing between search engines. And of course there are large search engines that you'd naturally turn to, and there's smaller ones such as EcoShare that actually with every search it helps to plant trees.
Oh,
and
that's
so
interesting.
there's kind of little changes, and all those little changes can make a big difference when they add up.
Caroline Hickman's with us from the University of Bath. Caroline, how schools teach climate change is something you've been working on too, isn't it?
Yes, it's really interesting hearing what you're saying. I think that curriculum sounds fantastic, but the one thing that's slightly missing from it is teaching children about emotional intelligence and feelings.
Okay.
So introducing them to all these facts and figures is absolutely brilliant. But they also need to know how to emotionally process this material. So the Climate Psychology Alliance and the Present Sing Institute and Greenpeace, we're working together with the university to talk to children about alternative curriculums and what else they would like to learn in order to prepare them for the future world that they're inheriting. So what they would add to that sort of curriculum that you've just outlined, which sounds great, I don't want to sound like I'm being critical, it sounds great, but they would also say, and they've said to us, we need to learn how to build boats, we need to know how to plant crops, we need to know how to feed ourselves. And we need to know how to lobby Parliament. We need to know how to talk to our parents about difficult things. We need to know how to encourage the younger generation to step up and start to get involved in things. So the children have identified very practical skills that they need, as well as the kind of emotional intelligence that they need.
Yeah,
It's
thank
really
you.
interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. Caroline Hickman there, who's been researching eco-anxiety in young people. And Rachel Atkins from Bristol Grammar School. Rachel was Bristol's first UN-accredited climate change teacher.